So here I am once again with another video promoting TOZO's products. So if you haven't heard of TOZO, TOZO is basically an electronics manufacturer, and they compete with the likes of Samsung and Apple. And I've already made a number of videos. I showed you that TOZO had its own smartwatch. This is the AccuFit Evo S6. I made a video about that, so if you look in my review playlist, you'll be able to see that review. If you're interested in an inexpensive smartwatch, you don't really want to buy an Apple Watch, but you just want something that does your heart rate and it gives you a pedometer, and you want something a little bit better than a Fitbit. So that's one. I also did a review on these TOZO open ear rings. So basically, these fit on your ear just like earrings, and they basically, and I made a video already, so you can look again for that video. I'll provide links. And long story short, they clip onto your ear, and they're open ears, so that means that the sound is directed towards your ear, but there's no seal into your ear canal. There are some people who do not like earphones that go into their ears. Maybe they have ear infections, maybe they have ear irritations, whatever it might be. So these are the type of earphones that are for them, or perhaps people who have jobs that don't allow you to have earphones in your ears, or perhaps where it's a safety concern that you don't have them in your ears. When I did the review on these, I also did a review on these Litme earphones that were another open ear design, where they go over the ear rather than clipping onto the bottom of the ear, and they fire sound towards the ear so that you can hear the sound. I felt that sound quality in general was pretty good. My problem with both of these open ear designs was very simply that you can hear too much of the outside world. If I'm going to drown out the world, I want to drown out the world. I don't want to hear anything other than my music or my video game, whatever it is. So these were the Litmes and the TOZO open ear designs. And one thing I did like about the TOZO model is that the TOZO model came with a case that measures the left and the right earphone battery. And it also measures the case battery and tells you pretty much exactly how many times you can recharge it. I had a very good experience using them, and they were okay, but again, I don't like anything that doesn't go right into my ear canal. So that's another one out of the way. My daily driver lately has been the TOZO NC3. They basically designed these as a black version of the Apple earpod Pro second generation. Now, Apple this year is probably going to release a third generation of the Apple earpod Pro, but you can't quote me on that because they're being very tight-lipped about what they're going to make. I've been using these earphones every single day for probably the past several months, or at least since I made the video about them. I love them. I love the fact that I can tell, based on the case, the earphone's power levels. I like that I can tell the case level, so this tells me exactly when I need to recharge it. All of these TOZO products are USB-C, so it's very easy to recharge them since, you know, the European Union pretty much forced everybody to go USB-C, so you're using one connector for just about everything. And I haven't had any problems with them. They are loud enough in most situations. The one thing that they don't have is they don't have the connectivity to iPhone that you expect from an Apple product. The iPhone doesn't read their battery life onto the screen because it can. It doesn't. These don't have the same chip that Apple puts into their headphones. And on top of that, the only other thing I didn't like was sometimes they lose parity if you're walking a lot, and it could be the iPhone that loses parity or the antenna. I'm not really sure which one's which, but the bottom line is if you're walking very fast or running, sometimes you lose parity. Sometimes the volume in one headphone decreases while the other headphone stays the same. And that's the first time I've ever experienced that. So I did kind of feel that that was weird. It's very possible that they may address that if they haven't already addressed it in a firmware update. It is possible to use the TOZO app, and you can download firmware updates for these headphones in pretty much the exact same fashion that you would for Apple. So these have been my daily driver. I'm enjoying using these, and So far, these are my favorite, the NC3. Now, today, I'm introducing you to the T6. Now, the T6 is also an in-ear canal headphone, and it has a lot of the similar properties to the NC3. But what these are promising is that they will have waterproof, and I'll talk about that maybe a little bit later, or I'll show it to you on their website. They have a level of waterproofing, which is something really interesting to me, that you could possibly swim with these. I'm going to check the water depth, and I'm also going to check the water length of duration that you're allowed to use them. But I've been waiting for a pair of waterproof headphones, and I'm surprised that they hadn't made them sooner. In fact, considering when you jump into water, splashes, and when you jump into the water, depending upon how hard you hit, the force of the water can actually take things off of you. You see my Apple Watch? This is an Apple Watch Ultra 2. I used to have an Apple Watch Ultra 6. No, I'm sorry, Ultra 6. I used to have an Apple Watch Series 6. And right now, that watch is at the bottom of the ocean in Maldives because I jumped into the water and somehow it came right off my arm. So what Apple came back and did was they started making diver-friendly straps where you can actually take the metal links and you can actually put them through these little holes to make it so that the things don't just come off your arm when you're doing serious scuba diving or something. So as far as the waterproofing on these, I'm definitely going to check that out. I want to obviously focus on how good the sound quality is, how good the bass response is, and generally how they sound when you're listening to talk radio, or when you're listening to rock music, or when you're listening to rap music, or even video game soundtracks. I'm definitely going to test them with video game soundtracks because, as you can see here, I have my Nintendo Switch 2. And my Nintendo Switch 2, just like all the rest of them, they do have a Bluetooth connection that allows you to connect these headphones directly to it. I've also tested headphones using my laptop, but I'm probably going to stick to the Nintendo Switch 2 and my iPhone to see how decent they sound. But I pretty much, based on the NC3s, I pretty much have a good idea that they're probably going to be good. So the waterproofing, sound quality, and basically general use are the things that I'm going to focus on as I do this review, probably over the next couple of days. The one thing that I should say is that they make a very good product, and they don't nickel and dime you like a lot of these other companies do. They do make a very, very good product. And thus far, all of the other TOZO equipment that I've used, I've found places for them. My NC3s I love. And, hopefully, I don't know if these are going to replace the NC3s, because the thing about it is the NC3 has that design just like the Apple AirPod Pro, where it has a stem that goes down. These do not have a stem, which we'll look at a little bit later. But for the most part, I also am looking at the case. The case does not have the LED indicator. I wish it had the LED indicator like the NC3, but it doesn't. So, I'm going to just give it probably somebody will say, oh yeah, well, it does have the four little lights there. I prefer to have the full LED indicator like this. In fact, it's a shame that Apple doesn't give you that. And they I think on theirs, they just use like one little LED to tell you green or red, whether it needs to be recharged or if it's dying or whatever. And I think Apple, for the price that they charge you for those things, they should be giving you a little bit more. And TOZO actually does give you a little bit more, where an Apple does not. All right, so this is a very simple unboxing. Usually these things are they're pretty simple. It's like, it's a case, it's two headphones, and it's a wire. It's like, it's a USB-C wire. Everything comes with USB-C. Apple refuses to give you chargers, so everybody else did the exact same thing. As you can see, this is the USB-C wire, and it also gives you, 5 different sizes for your earbud, the plastic silicone gel. And this is the headphone itself. So I'm going to link this to my phone, and I'll start using it immediately. So when you want to test it to find out how much power is in there, usually right on the back, they usually have a power light. But in this case, looking right here. I may have to take a look because I don't understand. There's like some little thing right here, but it doesn't look like you use it to test. I'm thinking that as soon as you open it, it probably tells you, and maybe I'm wrong. Now, I can see that they have the little stickers on there to protect the battery. So you're going to have to actually turn this thing on first, which we'll look at in a minute. And I'll take the stickers off of them. So in fact, let's take a look at the individual headphones. This is what they look like. As you can see, that's what they look like. They have a sticker to protect the battery connects. So nothing is actually on yet. I'm going to charge. I'm going to give them a nice full charge because that's how you're supposed to review them. Give them a nice full charge on my USB-C charger. They might be dead. It's a possibility. I don't know what this is for down there. That's kind of weird, but there must be some kind of tester. So let's see. I'm going to give these things a full charge. I'm going to take the battery connects off it, and after it's fully charged, I'll connect them to my phone. So I disconnected the battery tags, and the red lights, the red indicator lights have started already. And as soon as I put them in there, the battery light came on. And then I was thinking to myself, so it's fully charged right now. I was thinking to myself, what could this possibly be? And then I thought to myself, that's how you charge it. That's a pull out for the USB-C connector, so that this way, and I might have to pull that out with another hand, but that's where you actually plug it in via USB-C in order to charge it. But the reason why it's like this is because they waterproof the case as much as they could. So this is rubber. So I'm going to use both hands to pry that open because it's a little bit hard to get open with one finger. All right. So I pried it just a little bit, and boom, it comes right out, and it spins around, and that's it. That's your USB. Oh, snap. That is not a USB-C connection. That's a USB micro B connection. So it looks like they've gone backwards to some extent. I thought everybody was forced to use USB-C because I'm looking at the shaping of the hole, and it looks like it could be USB-C if you wanted it to be, but this one is USB-C micro. Yeah, so they have this thick gasket here so that this thing can survive a fall into the water. So if that's the case and they decided that USB-B was better than USB-C for this design, well, you know, some people might consider that a strike against it because they want to use one USB-C cable to charge everything. But for the most part, the waterproofing is the main thing that I'm interested in. So I may even like take these things, dip them in the toilet like a child would, and rescue them out the toilet and see, you know, just, you know, because usually when a phone or anything goes in the toilet, usually what happens is it refuses to charge until it's dry. But other than that, for the most part, it doesn't interfere with the electronics and it doesn't short anything out. So hopefully in the future, everything that we have, all our portable electronics will be waterproof. This way you can actually use them at the beach, in the beach water, and so forth and so on. You can actually take an iPad in the water with you. That's pretty cool, you know. But yeah, these are very, very simple. There's nothing special about the case. So as soon as you plug them in, as soon as you actually put them back in, they will automatically send you to the charging light. And it's saying that there's 3 out of 4 lights. So basically, lithium-ion batteries, they pretty much have to keep them charged when they're shipping them. So, you know, they don't usually arrive dead, usually. So I've connected them to my Alienware USB micro connector, and I'm letting them charge. When I tried to start using them, they basically told me they had low battery. And the battery was showing, when you saw it, it was showing 4 out of 4, and then it was showing 3 out of 4. So I'm just going to give it a full charge. I've already connected them to my cell phone. And what we'll do is we'll just take a quick look at the specs of these. But as you can see, once again, the case is designed to be waterproof. And they're in there, they're doing their charge, you know, red light indicators, they're doing their charge. And one thing about these grooves, you can put the left or the right in either side and it'll still fit. I guess they designed it that way because, you know, some people, you know, may have trouble seeing exactly where they're putting it in the dark or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna let these get a full charge and I'm gonna start using them. So this is the TOZO app, which you can download anyway just by using your phone. It has its own built-in equalizer and it has its own noise canceling settings. So as you can see, the TOZO open earrings are still in my memory. The TOZO NC3 is obviously still in my memory. And now I have the TOZO T6, which is in my memory. Now, one of the interesting things about their app is they fuse their community with their app. So they have an equalizer connection in there. They have problems, feedback, anything you need for troubleshooting, you can actually do it right from this app. As far as products, if you go to products, they have a very nicely designed website. As you can see, there are some YouTube influencers that they've gone to in order to help them promote their product. Headphones right there. They have the TOZO 2024 Hybrid Active, which is not this model. We're looking for the T6. TOZO open earrings, $39.99. Then you see the TOZO N3. I think for $40, those are fantastic. Right now, they're $10 off. I've been using them as a daily driver, and I like them. And then right here, you have the TOZO T6, $26.99. Save 10%. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. So on their website within the app, they actually tell you a little bit about it. They have the TOZO T6 as one of our top-selling TWS earbuds and is engineered with IPX8 water resistance. Lightweight design, outstanding sound, a long-lasting 50-hour battery life. And that's another thing I should mention. I've never had a problem with battery life from my TOZOs. They actually go very long. They go very strong. I've never had a problem with battery life. Sometimes I've used them like all morning long, and they were still going. And I was actually very impressed with that. So just in case you don't know what IPX8 water resistance is, IPX8, there's a difference between these ratings. Obviously, you can look it up. But basically, the difference between, say, IPX7 and IPX8 waterproof ratings lies in their suitability for immersion in water. IPX7 rated devices can function normally after being submerged in water up to 1 meter deep for 30 minutes. In contrast, IPX8 rated devices can withstand conditions more severe than IPX7. Basically, as higher the numbers go, that gives them a better, water resistance rating. IPX7 is not as good as IPX8 simply because the number is lower. Usually, it says being submerged in water deeper than 1 meter for over 30 minutes, with specific conditions varying as defined by the manufacturer. IPX7 is for temporary immersion, while IPX8 is for continuous immersion. So if you were going to like a pool and you want to swim while listening to music, that could be a major selling point of this device. Like, let's say you are a swimmer, you put your phone on on like the beach towel, you jump into the water. Yeah, these things can stand with continuous water immersion. Now, I'm not telling you could dive and stuff, but if you're only a meter or two down, you should be okay. So I could find out the extent of IPX8, but bottom line is, once you find out the extent, the water would actually probably damage the shit. But for the most part, it says devices with IPX8 waterproof rating are usually hermetically sealed. However, certain types of devices will be rated as IPX8 waterproof even if some amount of water enters the enclosure, but only if the water doesn't affect the functionality of the device. The main difference between IPX7 and IPX8 is in the purpose of devices with the ratings. A device with an IPX7 rating is only suitable for temporary immersion. So that's like saying if your kid throws your shit in the toilet. IPX8 is if if you're doing like light swimming, or you're in the shower, or you're in a bathtub and you're afraid to get your devices wet. So IPX8 is a good, strong rating. Then they have much, much higher ratings than that because they go beyond 9. So they got like 9, and then they have X. And basically, the ratings go higher and higher. But the bottom line is, the deeper you go in the water, nothing is waterproof. Ask those people from the Ocean Gate submarine about how IPX, their, what was that thing called? Ocean Gate. Ask them how waterproof that thing was when they got down to the Titanic. It really wasn't at all. So water is a powerful force. Thousands of pounds per square inch as the deeper you go. Obviously, you can't go that deep because it would crush your skull and all that. But the bottom line is, if you're just doing some basic stuff, you're good. You don't have to worry about it. So anyway, as far as battery life, they're promising you up to 50 hours, which is great. They're saying that there's a 45-hour battery life, but of course they're saying that you could possibly get up to 50 if you're using them intermittently. Super lightweight design. As far as I'm concerned, they're pretty light. They're about the same weight as my NC3 model. And then they're obviously saying Bluetooth 5.3 ready and IPX water resistance level 8. So most of these people are saying that they have great sound canceling. Now, one of the things that I'll say is that these things push so deeply into your ear canal that the passive sound canceling is already pretty good. Now, noise canceling, as I've experienced it, works best when you're on an airplane and you're trying to drown out the engine noise. And that kind of noise canceling requires that the computer actually sample your environment, and then it figures out exactly what kind of noise it needs to play in order to cancel it out. That requires more battery power, and most noise canceling headphones tend to die quicker, especially when they're in the earbud format. That's why most people who travel, most likely they're going to probably try to get like the AirPod Max or something large that has noise canceling, so this way it has a large battery. But it looks like the majority of the people, based on the reviews, absolutely love these. 4.7 average, and the majority of the reviewers give it a 5. So if you don't believe me, you could take it from these other reviewers. Now, to compare those, let's see about the NC3. Let's see how well those did, because I personally love the NC3. The NC3 has about the same thing, 4.7 with 786 reviews. And let's see, this one had, what is this, 662 reviews. So technically, the T6 is actually rated slightly higher. Now, they also have the T10 for, what, $2 more, but it has a slightly different case layout. So what is this offering? This is saying that we have IPX8 water resistance, a long-lasting 45-hour battery, wireless charging, and that's the thing that I forgot is something that I'm looking for. So let me see about the T6. The T6, it says supports the TOZO W1 ultra thin wireless charger. I have a wireless charger, so I'm going to test it and see if I can charge these wirelessly. If I can charge them wirelessly, then it's going to definitely get a higher rating from me than I would have normally given it. And the reason why I say that is because the NC3s don't have wireless charging, and I was a little bit upset about that. So they have a number of different products. They've tried just about everything to catch your attention. And the T10 looks like it's the highest level, but they also have the, T21 tonal. But right now, and then they also have gaming earpods that have like a Xbox just design or Asus ROG style design with green on it. As far as gaming earpods, I never really felt the need to buy those because if I'm playing a game, I usually bring larger headphones with me. Then they have a color design for their case, and I like that. But my bottom line is it has to have wireless charging. I like the fact that it has the LCD screen because as far as I'm concerned, Apple should be giving you that for the kind of money that they charge. But where Apple wins is that their headphones are designed specifically for iPhone or iPad or any Apple device. They have wireless charging. They have noise canceling. And even though they don't give you a very cool case like this is a very nice case. I like this case. The simple fact is, they try to give you just enough to keep you happy and keep you paying like $200 and $300. So it says you can expand for more introduction, but this is a different one, so I'm not going to go too far into that. But as you can see, they have a very nicely designed website. So I'll get back to the focus. But they have lots and lots of products. They have the NC9 Pros. But wireless charging going forward, I think they need to make sure that every single case has wireless charging. I like this color play case because you can automatically play based on the case itself, just touching the case. I like that. I don't think they're going to do that for all of their headphones, but it would be nice if they did. But as you can see, they've thought this through. They have they have a very nice website. They've really thought this through. For your knowledge, this is a standard wireless charging pad. Now, wireless charging, I actually prefer to charge by wire. And the reason why is because the energy goes directly into the device and you don't lose anything due to heat. However, sometimes if your connectors get wet, devices can refuse to charge. So when you put this on here, you have to position it. It doesn't have MagSafe, but as you can see, it will charge. Now, the question you're probably going to want to ask is, can it charge using the Apple Watch charger? So this is my Apple Watch charger right here. And as far as I can tell, let's clear it out. As far as I can tell, while it should possibly be able to do it, I don't think it can because it's possible that the induction ring is not large enough. So yeah, it doesn't work on my Apple Watch charger, but when I put it on this wireless charge pad, the induction ring is just big enough and it will charge on a Qi pad or a Apple pad, any Qi wireless pad you have. This, I believe, is a Kotek model that I've had for a while. So this is nice to know, just in case I don't feel like carrying a wireless B cable around with me, even though I normally would anyway, because I carry a USB-A, USB-B, and a USB-C cable. So just in case I forgot it, I always could be able to use my wireless charging pad. And I pretty much bought this wireless charging pad from Dubai. When I was in Maldives, I was in the beach water, my phone got wet, and it refuses to charge when it's wet. It forces you to wait. The problem is if you want to take video, you're stuck and you can't do anything. But when you have a wireless charging pad, yes, you can charge the thing without plugging it in. And that's the reason why you should always have one of these wireless charging pads. In Maldives, they charged me like $25 or $30 or something like that for this. But at the time, I had no choice but to pay it. So, it just is what it is. So this is my Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm just going to pair these things with it. TOZO T6. Okay, it is connected. All right, so that was really simple. Took just a couple of seconds. And now, let's say I play Ninja Turtles. And one thing I gotta say, because of the micro B connection, this thing actually, the TOZO T6 charges slower than it would if it was USB-C, I've noticed. With my TOZO NC3, I've noticed it charges much faster. Yeah, now you can't hear the sound. Only I can hear the sound. But it sounds okay. The maximum volume is not very loud. The maximum volume is not very loud. It's I can hear it fine. It's just that the max volume isn't very loud here. So for people who are worried about, kids playing it too loud and going deaf, they shouldn't have too much of a problem. Let me just take a listen to the game music here. Enhancements. Yeah. It sounds good though. The sound quality is good. It's just that the max volume isn't very loud. Or I don't know if that it says settings currently limit headphone volume. So let's check the max volume through the settings. So they're saying that it's possible that the settings itself have a limiter. So let's see if I can turn that off. All right, so system virtual sound, headphone virtual sound, lower max headphone volume. Okay, let's get rid of that. And I wonder if there's one that says lower speaker max volume too. Microphone noise suppression, input microphone. And see, that's the other thing. If you're paying Nintendo for game chat, then that gives you if you pay Nintendo for game chat, then that would give you what is it called? The ability to talk online. But I'm not paying Nintendo for game chat. I'm not doing it. All right, so let's see if I could turn it up louder. Oh, okay, yeah. That's better. That's a lot better. The max volume can be turned up more, so it's reasonable enough. What they're trying to do is they're trying to protect people's hearing. I totally understand that. So one thing you have to understand is some devices may have a switch that says that you can't go beyond a certain maximum volume. But I was able to turn that switch off, and makes it so that yes, you can. So that's perfect. That's perfect. It sounds much better, much louder. I'm not going to actually play anything right now because obviously I'm using, my hands there. But okay, yeah. I like the sound quality. The sound quality is definitely a lot better. I can see that already because I'm listening to it. There was sounds that I didn't hear before. That's definitely a lot better. That's definitely a lot better. So I guess okay, so the sound quality, I've already listened to YouTube with them, and I've already listened to a couple of podcasts. So I think really the only other thing is to take a phone call or to make a phone call with them. As far as having them in my ears, they're comfortable. They fit right in my ear canal. I would say that again, if I was diving with them, I'd want them to have a hook that locks them onto the top of my ear so that they don't just come off. But other than that, they pretty much are pretty cool. I mean, I like the sound quality, and the bass what is it called? The bass response is pretty good from them. They're not that different than the TOZO NC3. It's just that I wear them a little bit deeper into my ear canal. The TOZO NC3 didn't go as deep into my ear canal. But it's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Okay, so if you're listening to me, you should be listening to me right now over the TOZO T6 microphone. Hearing quality during phone calls is pretty good. And it's pretty much exactly what I expected. You can basically see how I sound right now to know how the microphone sounds. Most of these microphones have technology to reduce wind noise. But to tell you the truth, when I use my microphones and when I use my headphones, basically it's like when I go shopping or it's like when I'm just walking someplace and I'm just listening to music. If I take calls, I usually never have a problem with the reception unless there's a problem with the reception, like the phone is in an area where there's not good reception. There's a couple of places that are near where I live where that's the problem. And there's some places where the reception is so bad that the phone call will drop automatically. But the TOZO T6 has sound effects for increasing bass, subtracting from the bass, or you have presets for hip hop, presets for classical and whatnot. Basically, with the hip hop, I believe the equalizer, as you can see, they have these multiple U patterns where they try to add bass to what you're listening to. Like if you look at the bass curve, that's the bass curve right there. And if you look at the bass minus curve, that's the bass minus curve. The classical curve, they try to let the high response, they want that one to get more preference. And if you look at the deep curve, then the low frequency response is better. But this is just a visual equalizer. And, I think it's interesting that they use some of Apple's iconography for their product, because those headphones, the design of the picture is like clearly Apple. But overall, it's like they're doing their best to make these products, and they're pretty good products because I've been using the NC3 for months, and I really, really like them. They were definitely nowhere near as expensive as the Apple EarPod Pros, and neither are these. And now you're adding waterproofing. So I'm hoping that the next generation of Apple products will have IPX8 water resistance as well. Um, I have nothing negative to say about them. The only things that I wish is that the case had the digital LED indicator on it. I love the fact that it has wireless charging. And other than that, I mean, there's not really much else to talk about. Like, if you want me to be able to go into water with them, I would just hope that you'd have the ability to, lock it onto my ear with maybe an over the ear ring, a half ring. But for the most part, they're deep enough in there where if you're careful, they won't come out. It is really nice having waterproof headphones, though, so this way I can wear them in the shower. I don't have to worry about getting them wet. That's pretty cool. So that's basically it for now. I'm very amazed with the products that they're turning out, and I'm glad that they're turning out some very, very good products. And I'm also glad that they offer pretty good service and customer service for their products to ensure that the customer is happy. So, any questions, comments, criticisms, feel free to put those in the bottom section of the page.